Hello students, in today's class we are going to discuss about the continuation of the concept variable. Already we have discussed a lot regarding variable, like variable acts like a container and it helps to store the values, right? So when it helps to store the values, only when you assign a value to a variable gets created in Python. And similarly, the variable will act like a container to store all the values and to retrieve all the values whenever needed. So all these things we have discussed a lot, and now in today's class we are going to discuss the components of a variable. So what are the three main components of a variable? So if you see here, these are the three components. One is identity, type and value of a variable. So let us see one by one regarding these components. First we'll discuss about the identity of a variable. So what is meant by an identity? So ID refers to the address or identifying a particular thing, right? Similarly, here identity of a variable refers to the address where it gets stored in the memory location. Whatever value you give to a computer, whatever value you give to a variable, everything gets stored in the memory location. And we have to find out the address of the memory location. We make use of this method called ID of variable. So this is the syntax which you have to use to retrieve in which particular memory location it has been stored. For example, like how we have a different unique house address for each and everyone. Everyone will not have the same house address, right? Each and everyone will have a unique house address to receive information properly. Otherwise, everyone will receive the same information, and even it will go in a very cumbersome process. So everyone will go under confusion. So to avoid all these things, we have a unique house address for each and everyone. Similarly, the Aadhaar card number, you can take it as an example. So Aadhaar card is number is different for each and every person to identify the person's identity, right? Similarly, the values which you store in the computer, it needs a memory address to get stored, and whenever you need it to retrieve it. So that's why the values get stored in a different memory location, and once this memory has been created, it cannot be changed. So let us see how this works now. For example, if you're going to give x is equal to 10. So x is equal to 10, what you have done here, 10 is the value which I have assigned to the variable x. Clear? And this x gets stored in a memory location. So the value 10 gets stored in the variable x, and this x takes a memory location. To find out that, if you give id of x, what will happen? It will retrieve the address of the memory location where the value 10 has been stored. So this is how it works. And even I'll show you how this works actually in your system later. Now in the next thing, if you see here, generally if you see all the variables, it will retrieve the memory address in this way, because we will understand only the human language. We cannot understand the computer's language, like binary numbers, zeros and ones. So this is how we will understand according to us. But in reality, how the computer stores everything here is, if you look at this picture, you will understand. So see here, these are the values which you have given. Consider these are the values like 13, 3, 0 and 45 are the values which you have given to store in the computer. And each and every value will take a respective memory address. See, the address of the memory cell, 0 is one address and 1 is one address and 2 is another address, 3 is another address. So always all your values get stored in the index form in your computer. So your index value starts with 0. So this is how we will consider for our understanding how the system stores all the data. But in reality, if you see here, all the values, whatever values, whether it is the address of the memory cell or whether the values which you are going to give, everything takes in the form, everything will be converted in the form of zeros and ones. Clear? For 0, the binary form of 0 has been given, and for 1, the binary format of 1 has been given. So it keeps going in an increasing order. Similarly, the values, according to the values, the binary form of the values which you have entered will be represented here. So it differs. This is how the system stores everything in the memory. Clear? Now we are going to see the type of the variable. So the very first component, identity, we have discussed. Now the second component, which is type. That is what we are going to discuss. The second component of a variable is type. So what is meant by a type? Which is nothing but the data type, to which the value which you give, it belongs to which category. To find out the value which you have been given belongs to which category, we make use of the data type in programming languages. So most probably you would have come across the data type integer. So integer, it refers to the whole numbers without any fractional parts. It can be a positive value or it can be a negative value, anything it can be. So each and every value which you give in the programming language, when you're writing a program, all the values belongs to the respective data type. So we have to group to the respective data type. Otherwise, we will come under confusion. We cannot write a proper programming. We cannot write the proper code. So the data type of a value, it refers to the type of value it holds. Clear what type of value the variable is holding. If I'm giving a equal to 5, it means Python, as all the data types are inbuilt in Python, it will automatically understand that it belongs to the integer data type. If I'm giving b equal to 5.5, that represents it belongs to the floating point, that is the decimal part. So fractional part, right? So that belongs to the floating point data type. If I'm going to give c equal to some name within quotes, if I'm going to give, it belongs to the string data type. Clear? So it will automatically understand, but we have to represent it properly. That's why we make use of the data type. And if you look at this picture, there are 5 different data types we have in Python. So one is numbers. The very first thing, 5 categories you have: numbers, sequences, sets, none, and mappings. So in each, all these 5 categories have subcategories. If you look at the numbers, in numbers you have 3 subcategories. One is integer, floating point, and complex. And Boolean is a subdivision of integer. Clear? Then if you look at sequences, strings, list, and tuples, these are the data types you have under sequences. Then sets is another data type, none is another data type. Then mappings. In mappings you have the dictionary concept. So all these things we are going to see one by one now. First we will discuss about the numbers data type. So numbers, what for we make use of the numbers? Numbers usually it will store only the numerical values, right? So apart from numerical values, it will not store anything. Just look at this number data type. What for we use? It helps to store all the numerical values, and it is classified into 3 types, which is integer, floating point, and complex. In short, you can call it as int, float, and complex. As I told you, integer numbers, it helps you to store only the whole numbers, which is the numbers without the fractional part. It can be a positive number or it can be a negative number even. Got it? So it helps to store all the whole numbers. And floating point numbers, if you consider the fractional part, is considered as a floating point number. So which is 4.0, 2.04, or 5.5, any numbers which comes with the decimal values that represent the floating point numbers. And this floating point numbers are also called real numbers. So the floating point numbers are also called real numbers. Even here also you can have the both positive and negative values. And complex number, if you take, it is a combination of real and imaginary numbers. So real and imaginary numbers means real numbers are also called as floating point numbers. And imaginary numbers, which is the square root of the number minus 1. So always it will be represented with the lowercase letters. Clear? That is the imaginary number. Now let us discuss about each and every data type which you have under the number category. So we are discussing about the first type, numbers. In numbers we are going to discuss about integer, floating point, and complex now. So let us discuss about integer. So integer data type, as I have told you already, it helps you to store all the values, the whole numbers, right? And when you're trying to specify the values, as you don't have to specify the value belongs to the int data type and all, as data types are built in Python, you don't have to declare the data type. And when you're working with integer, you don't have to specify the size even. You don't have to worry about the size also, because the size, I mean, the very big sized integer is automatically handled by Python. That is, the length of the values which you're going to give, you don't have to worry about it. So everything will be automatically handled by Python. And one more thing, when you're representing or when you're writing the large integer values, you should not use commas to separate the digit. Clear? So an integer in Python can be of any length. So this is all about integer. And floating point number, as usual, the fractional part of a floating point number can also be 0. For example, if I'm writing 5.605, so that 0, it comes under the fractional part, right? So that fractional part of the 0 can also be under the fractional part. And floating point number, as I have told you already, the real numbers, you can also call it as the floating point values or the numbers with the fractional part. So as already I have told you, for each and every term which you study in computers, you have many different meanings for it. So real numbers, you can even call it as a floating point values, or even you can call it as a number with a fractional part. Clear? So the floating point numbers are written with a decimal point that separates the integer from the fractional part. If I'm writing 5 point, see here, 4.0, 4 is the integer part and 0 is the fractional part. Similarly, 14.23, 14 is the integer part and 23.23 is the fractional part. So the number that comes after the decimal point will be considered as the fractional part. Now we will discuss about complex number. So complex number, it is a combination of real and imaginary numbers. So it will be most probably in this form, x plus yj or x plus yj. So either in capital or smaller. So if you consider the x will be the floating point or the real number of the real part of the complex number, and this one yj, this comes under the real number. Y is the floating point number and j will be considered as the real number, imaginary number. So imaginary number means it is a square root of the imaginary number minus 1. So look at this example, x equal to 2 plus 5j if they have given. So x equal to 2 plus 5j means here they are going to print which is the real and which is the imaginary number. So if I'm giving x dot real and x dot imaginary, what will happen? 2.0 is a real number which is the floating point number. Similarly, 5.0 is the imaginary number because it consists of j as the imaginary number. Got it? Similarly, they have given for y equal to 4 minus 2j, and similarly they are finding out which is the real and which is the imaginary number. And after this, they're going to add here z equal to x plus y. If you add both these values, what will happen? These expressions are 4 plus 2 is 6 and 5 minus 2. So the highest number will take this preceding operator plus. So plus 3j. That will be the answer. This is how you have to handle the complex numbers in Python. So now we have discussed about numbers data type. Now we are going to discuss about the sequence data type. That is the second type. See here, numbers we have discussed now. In numbers, integer, floating point and complex we have discussed. Boolean we will discuss later. Now we are going to discuss about sequence data type, the second data type in Python. So what is meant by a sequence? So sequence, its general meaning of sequence is an order, a relevant things, right? So when you write something in an order, that is considered as a sequence. A Python sequence, if you consider, it is an ordered collection of items, and where each and every item is indexed by an integer value. Clear? So when you look at the example, you will understand much clearly. If you consider the sequence data type, you have three types in that. One is strings, the other one is list, and the other one is tuples. So let us discuss about one by one. First, we will discuss about strings. So what is meant by a string? Which is the character. When you give some value, for example, a equal to Raji, if I'm giving my name, if I'm enclosing within the double quotes or single quotes, whatever, if I'm going to enclose some value within the quotes, that is considered as a string. Clear? String or character data type you can consider. So a string means generally it is a sequence of characters. So it is a sequence of characters which is a combination of letters, numbers and special symbols. So whatever it can be. So it can be a letter or it can be a number or it can be a special symbol. So whichever values you enclose within the quotation marks, it can be a single quotes or it can be double or triple quotes, even all work in the same way. So the things which you enclose within the quotes will be considered as a string. Even if you enclose a number within a quotes, that will also be considered as a string, which we have already discussed in the previous classes. And the string, if you consider, these are not the part of the string. Actually, the quotes which you consider, the quotes are not the part of the string. Actually, they will define the starting and ending of the string. If they have given here hello Python, so this quotes represent here my string has started and here I'm ending my string. For that purpose only we will make use of this quotes. Clear? And it can have any character, as I have told, not only the letters, numbers and special symbols, even you can even provide space in between the quotes. Yes, or any signs, even like plus, minus, any addition, division symbol, anything you can provide. Whatever you provide within the quotes will be considered as the string. See here, str is a variable. So any variable you can provide. Str is a variable equal to hello Python they have given. So within the quotes, which means you have given a string value to the variable str, and if you try to print that value, print of str, if you are going to give, what will happen? The same hello Python gets printed. This is the output. Similarly, now the next data type, which is list, we are going to discuss. So list means it is a sequence of items separated by commas, and if you see here string, you will not separate with a commas, but list means what is the general meaning of list? If your mom is going to buy a provision, she will prepare a list, right? What are the things to be purchased? She will write next one after the other. So that represents a list, all the things which you wanted to buy. So list is a sequence of items where you will separate it with the commas and all the items will be enclosed within square brackets. This is how you will identify that the data value belongs to the list data type. This is how the list values you will represent. So list is a sequence of items which is separated by commas and you will enclose within square brackets. And the items can be of different data types. Whatever values you give, values you can even refer to as items. The values which you give can be of different data types. If you look here, 5 belongs to integer data type, 3.4 belongs to floating point data type, and New Delhi is a string data type. It is a combination of even the 20 and C, as it has been enclosed within double quotes. It is a string data type, and 45 is an integer data type. So it can be a combination of different data types, but you have to enclose within square brackets and you have to separate with commas. That represents a list. They are trying to print the values of list here. See, so you can even provide the variable as A or B or C. So for your understanding, they have provided as list 1. List 1 equal to, they have allocated some values. And if you try to print list 1, even you can provide it as print of list 1. Clear? So if you provide print of list 1 or list 1, what will happen? The values will be retrieved here in this form. Now we will discuss about tuple. So what is meant by a tuple? So tuple means that is also a sequence of items, the same, much similar to your list. So much similar to how you have discussed in list. So here also you will separate all the values by commas, but you will enclose within square brackets. But in tuple, you will enclose all the values within parentheses. That is the only difference between list and tuple. And one more difference is that the values which you create in list can be changed in the future, but in tuple, the values cannot be changed once you have created. So that is the only difference between a list and a tuple. So regarding these concepts, you will study in detail in the further chapters. So just look at this example of tuple. Tuple equal to 10, 20, apple. So this also can consist of different values, belongs to different data types. So which I have enclosed within parentheses. And if you try to give print the values, print of tuple, if you are going to give, what will happen? The same value gets printed. So these are the things which you have under numbers and sequences. So under sequence data type, you have strings, list and tuples that we have discussed now. See here, under the sequence data type, we have discussed about strings, list and tuples. And under the number data type, we have discussed about int, float and complex data types. So Boolean we will discuss in the next class. So these are the two different data types we have discussed in today's class, which is numbers and sequences. So other data types we will discuss in the next class. I hope you understood the class, children. Thank you.